What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Faded Truth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and supporting the growth. I'm so excited to have a powerhouse on the show today. Sports host, podcaster, producer, media mogul. I got Miss Jen DeLeon on the show. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm hanging in there.
I'm so happy we were finally able to do this too, and I'm really excited to be here.
Yes, I didn't give up on you. I'm like, I need to talk to her. So
And now I'm here.
appreciate you being here. I don't even know how I found you actually. I don't know how I found you on like Instagram or something, and I was looking at you. I'm like, oh, this girl's interviewed everybody. And I think I actually might have found you through Manscaped or something because
Oh,
I did like a promo for them like a couple years ago.
yeah,
And it's funny because I was like, it was just like me so cheesy in front of the camera, like, your balls will thank you.
yeah. I love Manscaped.
So, yeah, I don't know how I found you, but I was like, I have to talk to you because you've been interviewing people for 13 years. You've interviewed everybody in hip hop, and
Yes.
it's very rare to find a like female, alpha female in the media industry. It's like, few and far between, especially people that are doing as much as you're doing, because when you look at your deck, you can see just everything that you've done, and it's crazy because you look like you're in your 20s. So,
And I'm not. I love that because I feel like I still have some longevity because I am in my 30s.
right. Same. And I'm like, people are like, oh, you get carded? I'm like, yes.
I love getting carded. Actually, no, sometimes it gets annoying. I got carded. Like my breaking point was when I got carded for a lottery ticket, and I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, cause like I get 21, but like 18. So
Yeah, there ain't even no lottery in Vegas. I
I
found that
know.
out
Oh, there
after I
isn't?
tried. You got to go to
Damn.
the border, like Arizona, to get it.
Have you ever done that?
No, but my dad messaged me on WhatsApp. He's like, I had a dream. You have to play these numbers. And I went, and they're like, we don't have a lottery here. And I'm like, oh shit, I thought I was in Jersey.
Wow, I did not know they didn't have lottery. How do they not have lottery, but they have like every casino in the world and all this
It's like a
gambling?
gambling thing or some shit. I don't know, some
Oh,
little,
no.
loophole. Um, okay,
Good.
so you've been interviewing people for 13 years. When you were little, did you like already know that you wanted, like, were you already talking to people? Were you very social, or how was your personality?
Yeah, so very social. I knew I wanted to be on camera since I was a kid. Like no joke, like like when your parent or an adult asks you like what you want to do or what you want to be when you grow up, and mine was like being on TV and being on camera, and that's the only thing I ever pursued. My mom told me I was saying full sentences when I was only a year and a half. Like so, I was always a big talker, but it's funny. I can talk a lot when it's one-on-one, but if you put me in an environment where it's like an event, I am hidden in the corner. Like I am hidden in the corner. Sometimes people don't even know I'm there. So it's like I'm the most social, antisocial person you'll probably ever come across.
Okay, gotcha. I feel like that's a lot of people in media too.
Yeah.
Because like I could talk to a wall, and I bartended for like 15 years before I got out the industry. So I think it helped me when I started interviewing people and started the podcast because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, people are like, you just talk so naturally, and it's like I know you. I'm like, yeah, I just talk to everybody. It's normal. And sometimes I'm like, please get away from me. I have zero energy to give you,
Yep.
uh, and I don't want to be in this space with all these people. I would just want to be home on my couch.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I actually saw, my dad had a camcorder attached to his hand when we were little. So there was like a video of me with like one of those microphones, like, hey, let me show you the living room or blah, blah, blah. So when I look
Yeah.
back, I'm like, damn, I really actually, this was something that I probably was thinking
Mhm.
about when I was younger, but I could never bring it out until later. And it's funny how it came back.
That's funny. Hey, when
So
you
when
know, you know.
yeah, when you first like get into, obviously your passion from a young age, but did your parents put you in any type of like drama, school, media, anything, or you just kind of like when she got older, you were like, all right, I want to start educating.
Yeah. So they didn't put me in anything like that. When I really started doing anything with on camera and talking was in high school. In high school, I was the girl who did the morning announcements. So I was that person in high school. So yeah, so that's where it really started. And then after that, I started doing YouTube videos. And when I was in college, That's all I would do. Like, instead of going out, I was so obsessed with like, how am I going to make this a reality? So I'd be recording YouTube videos in my dorm or in my apartment, and then from there, it kind of went it went great. Like from there.
And this was, like, before YouTube popped off really, right?
Yeah. So this is 2009 when I started doing YouTube. So
Okay.
this was before Instagram, before, well, I guess Twitter was out too, but before Instagram, before TikTok, and it was just I would just turn on my camera and just record whatever. I would do the longest videos where I would talk like 10, 15 minutes, and then I wouldn't have anything planned. I would just turn it on and be like, this is what I feel like talking about today, and then that's what came out. And I'm still kind of like that, which I think I should work on so it's actually like planned out. But I will just, if I feel like recording, I'll record, or
Right.
if I got ready. So like today, I got ready for this. I'm like, okay, today's the day I will shoot content after because I don't like getting ready. Like if I don't have to.
Yeah, you're telling me I put, like, a little bit of fucking mascara on, I'm like, "Let me look like I haven't been fucking crying." I had to put my dog down this past weekend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I just been like, I have one left. He's literally sitting here at my feet, like, "Hey, can we do something?" I'm like, Jesus, because they were like two, all with each other.
Yeah,
I just been like, literally, just no energy. Just like, I'm glad to be working and doing things because it keeps my mind busy.
yeah.
But like I
I'm
said,
sorry.
sometimes you gotta like disconnect and like fucking fill your cup, to like
Yeah.
'cause all the time. You gotta be all happy go lucky and da 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 da, and sometimes you don't want to be like that.
Oh, trust me, I have my days where I'm like, fuck this, fuck that, and I'm just gonna stay in bed all day because I don't feel like doing anything.
Do you have like a self-care like ritual that you do to kind of stay sane?
I wouldn't say it's not like a ritual, but every time I feel really down, I will watch some kind of preaching on YouTube. So my go-tos are like TD Jakes, Devon Franklin, Sarah Jakes Roberts, Teray Roberts, Michael Todd. Like I will just go, Stephen Furtick. So I will go and watch something, and what I'll do is I'll go on YouTube and I will search like what the topic is where I need some kind of inspiration. So I'll do that. And then I also write a lot. That's always my advice for people. Like if you are going through something, whether it's, just you as a person, or if you're dealing with an issue with another person, and like you have to write and express that in some way and let it out. So I will write down everything, and then I feel better after I do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think people underestimate the power of journaling.
Yes.
And I actually just thought about that the other day, and I'm like, why do I feel kind of like, ugh? And I'm like, well, I haven't meditated, I haven't journaled, like, I really haven't been reading. Like, I usually read a chapter a day, at least
Yeah.
somewhere in my day, So I'm like, you just haven't been doing the normal things, and you start feeling it when you don't do it.
And then sometimes, even when you're feeling down like that, you're not even in the mood to do the things that you know will make you feel better because you're just so blah. But then it's like, once you force yourself to do it, it's like, okay, now I remember why this is what I'm supposed to do when I'm feeling down.
Yeah. And I just give myself grace too. I like used to be so hard on myself. And it's like, I think probably you too, as like an independent woman of like doing 10,000 things. We're always like trying to be the best or like trying to perfect
Exactly.
and whatever. And it's like
Mhm.
good enough. So, with the creative process, that's been something for me is just like trusting my process and trusting myself and like not
Right.
type of big expectations or timelines or like things that would just drive me nuts.
Yeah, that's really good to have. At least
Okay.
you're trying. That's the biggest thing. Like, as long as you're making some kind of progress, it doesn't matter how small it is.
I started the show like 3 years ago, and before that, like, I was not trying to progress in any, like, mental way in my life, so it's just been crazy the people I've met during the process and, like, how much I've changed. It's been like a 180, so now I just, pretty much am, like, the vessel for other people,
That's
um,
amazing.
which is just crazy to me, but now I'm here.
And you're doing great.
Yes. So I know you interviewed some of the biggest names in hip hop: Kodak Black, Tyga, Chris Brown, Snoop Dogg, Nipsey. Do you remember like the first big interview that you had that you were like super excited about?
Ooh. Man, there's so many. Like where
Like watching your reel, and it was just like crazy all the people that you've interviewed. So I'm like, can you even like remember when you first were like, wow,
I
I'm here, I made it.
I like that. It's so crazy because you know how fucking long, sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but like, do you know how long it took me to put together that reel? And because it's like I've done like thousands of interviews and people's attention span is not long. So even when I try to clip and I try to update it every year, it's so hard where it's like, which one do I keep? Um, wow, yeah, no one's ever asked me that where it was like, what was the one where I was really excited or what can I remember? I could say for sure, like, even if I knew an interview was happening, I didn't believe it was happening until I was sitting in front of that person and we were actually going to do the interview because it's always hit or miss with artists and their availability. I know I was really excited for Snoop for sure.
Do you
Um,
smoke at all?
I do.
Okay,
I
so
do
did
it
you
to
smoke with
sleep.
Snoop?
No, I did not.
Oh
I did
man.
not. But what I loved with Snoop was like I remember being excited to even do one of the interviews, but now he's probably the artist that I probably interviewed the most. So like at that point, and then it was cool because it wasn't just interviews, like his team hired me to host his Adidas panel. So he would do it was a Coach Snoop and Adidas thing. So I hosted that like 2 years in a row. So it was just I was more excited when I would get cool opportunities where it was cool when I would get the interviews, but then it was even cooler when it was a step up from the interview and it was like, okay, actually like building something. So yeah, I would say Snoop. And then I was really, this isn't my first, like when I first got the interview, but during COVID and I really was like, I'm going to focus on my YouTube and build my channel because I would do my interviews for all these different platforms, but I was the one booking the interviews. So I remember during COVID, Big Sean released Detroit 2. He didn't do any interviews, but I had reached out and was like, hey, can you do an interview? And we just did it through Zoom because of COVID. And what was exciting was when he was doing his promo for Detroit 2, I screen recorded this. I have it in my stories where it was Amazon Music, Daily Show with Trevor Noah, um, me, and then I think like Undisputed. So it was only like huge names, and then just randomly like in the story, like he only did like and then Apple Music. So like he only did like 4 interviews, but just being able to see that made me really excited because that really pushed me to see like, okay, I don't have to be attached to a big network to be
Right.
able to get these same interviews. It's all about that relationship. And I was so excited for that interview because also it was COVID. So we're all just locked in our
Right.
homes. So it was just exciting to see that, and it was like, you know what, I can really do this, and I don't have to be afraid to just put it all into myself.
Right, because you were I mean, you had, like, your own show. Do you still is that
Mhm.
still something that you have, the Jen DeLeon Show?
Yeah, yes. So the last interview I dropped was with NLE Choppa. I dropped that about a month ago. And then my next interviews, I have Lil Xan August 1st, and then Davies and Jeezy sometime in August. So I need to be more consistent with it though, but it's
Who's
still there.
what's the last one you said?
NLE Choppa.
No, what was, like who you have in August?
Oh, Lil Xan August 1st, and then Davies and Jeezy sometime in the middle of August.
Young
When
Jeezy?
yeah,
That's my baby.
is but
Drop or die!
what's cool is Jeezy, he did an interview with me when I first launched my show in 2016 for Trap or Die 3. So it's like I'm excited to do something for his book. So it's just like exciting to see like, okay, I have something from 2016
Yes.
when I was on unemployment and then he came to the set and then now 2023 something like different. So
Full
it's
circle.
milestones like that where you see the progress of like, okay, this is yeah, I really love doing this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. I think people underestimate the fact that you can just reach out and be a human and, like, you might get that interview.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
some
no,
people, like
exactly. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to anybody for an interview. Like, don't let the numbers be a thing. Like, and that's the thing, if you're genuine about it, like, if you're genuine and you put thought into your pitch, like, one thing I see with people is they'll send a pitch, but it's just copy and paste of the pitch they sent to everybody else. So you can
Mhm.
tell it's very, like, you're a robot. Like, you don't really care for the interview. So I make sure with every pitch that I do, it is very personal and I spent time to actually send that pitch. So
Right.
it's more of a chance of getting it also.
Yeah. I've gotten a couple people, like, just off DMing them and, like, literally, I think Jason Weaver messaged me, like, a year later. He was like,
Nice.
"Hey, I just saw this." I'm like, "Let's go."
Cool. Are you free next week?
Okay, so, how did you get into the music industry?
I got into the music industry in 2010. So I had hosted an event. It was a benefit concert for Haiti at the time. There was a blog called Go Where Hip Hop. And when I was on stage at that show, I had mentioned something about, like, I just want to have, I don't know what I was talking about, but I guess I said something about wanting to one day be able to like have a show and do something like that frequently. And then Go Where Hip Hop reached out and just said like, "Hey, do you want to start doing interviews for us?" And they're like, "We just want to start doing them." So then I started doing them. It's funny, like at that time I was only 20 when it started, and when we started, like I had to use a fake ID to get into clubs to be able to interview some of these artists. So one that I really remember was with Pusha T, and it was at a club, and they said, like, I think this was gonna be my first like hip hop interview, now that I think about it. And I was panicking because I'm like, wait, like, is this ID gonna work? Like, what am I doing? And then they're like, it's going to be clips. So it's Pusha T and Malice. And I'm like, oh fuck, like what if I mix them up? And what if I like ask, like there were so many thoughts going through my head. It ended up only being Pusha T. And then one of my questions I asked, he actually slipped up about how he was going to be part of Good Music, and then they used that as an interlude to one of his mixtapes where I asked whatever question it was. So that ended up working out, but that was all like using a fake ID to get into this club and be able to do it.
Nice. So, when you're interviewing people at this point, is this something like that you already know you wanna be in the hip hop space?
I
And did
think, I
it kind
mean,
of drive you into
yeah,
it automatically, like, when you got because it was, like, the same time you were doing the videos, then you start the
yes.
music, so it's, like, kinda just all came together?
Yeah, so it's crazy. I thought I was going to do sports. So I thought it was, and I really wanted to do basketball. So I was actually an intern for the Chicago Bulls that same season, 2010 and 2011. But then I found out I did not want to like do that. But I think it was just because I was younger and like the experience wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. So music, that happened because of Go or Hip Hop, but then it always worked out for me. So I just started to pursue music. So even now, hip hop is definitely still my niche, but I do want to expand outside of hip hop. So it's, I have hip hop, but I want to interview everybody, like on the music side, on the acting, TV, and film side. Like I just want
Yeah.
to expand because I just like talking to anybody. So, and
That's
there's
why,
so
like,
many
so
stories.
when I started my YouTube in 2020, I, like, everyone's like, "You need a niche." I was like, "I don't have one. I wanna talk about whatever."
Yeah,
So I just started, like, cannabis and creatives, right? And then
nice.
started, like, doing a lot of artists, musicians, things like that, and then it just spiraled into, do you know who Rude Jude is?
Yeah, I've worked with Ruju before. Yeah,
So that was, like, my inspo to start the show because I
nice.
listened to
He's
Siri.
great.
Yeah, then I ended up interviewing him, like, maybe last year or something, but it was, like, great how it came full circle because 'cause I'm like, "You made me start this, right?"
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so, I had a brain fart, I don't know what I was saying before that.
You were talking
Oh,
about,
talking
oh, like a
just talking
niche.
to people. Yeah,
Yeah,
niche. So, now I have, like, 5 niches on my website. It's
nice.
happiness, creatives, health and wellness, taboo, and food porn.
Nice.
So it's like I can literally, and it all kind of intertwines because a lot of times I'll do like THC chefs, or you know what I mean, and it
Mhm.
goes into food, or I'll do like cannabis, and maybe they're also an artist or a DJ or whatever it may be. So I
Yeah.
like that it's like that it varies because I always hated like doing the same thing, and I felt like if
Mhm.
I did this, I'm like I'm gonna put myself in a box. I'm like doing all my own content myself. I want to enjoy it.
Yes.
So, but I definitely have like that's definitely what I'm known for too is like a hip hop kind of culture podcast.
Yes.
So I think it's crazy too how women always like float towards like people love in the hip hop space love women to be representing them. I feel like
Yes.
you know what I mean.
Exactly.
So also, are you Filipino?
Yes.
Okay, I just actually interviewed. It's called the Pepper Club out here, and the
Okay.
head chef is Filipino. So we were talking a lot about Filipino culture, and we were doing sake and kampai and all that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about the Filipino culture?
What I love about the Filipino culture is how friendly they are. Honestly, like I was thinking about that the other day. Like Filipino culture, we're very friendly and very family oriented and supportive. Like I swear all Filipinos will support any Filipino if they know you're Filipino. And that's what I love about it. And their food.
That's awesome.
Yes,
He did say everyone is super happy because I was like, "What do you think, like, is, like, the biggest thing?" He's like, "I feel like everyone is chill, like,
they
you know,
are.
have, like, issues," and it's nice that you say if they know you're Filipino, like, they embrace you because I feel like in a lot of cultures, it's too much of, like, "You're not this, or you're not that, or you're not Spanish enough, or you're not black enough,"
Yeah,
whatever. You know what it is? It's like there's never people that are, like, embracing you for just being you. We're already all minorities, so it's like
yeah,
you have
exactly.
to, so I like that about the culture. That's nice.
Yes, they're a very friendly culture. Yeah, like there's I mean, like really thinking about whether like someone watching this right now, like you probably don't know like a mean like Filipino. I don't know. Like I just they're all just so friendly. Like you could really go up to a Filipino. Like I do it all the time. Like if I see say I'm at a grocery store or a restaurant, and if the clerk is like checking me out or the server is Filipino, I'll always ask like, "Oh, are you Filipino?" And they get so excited when they find out you're Filipino also.
That's how I feel when I find out people are from Jersey. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, I love you!" Like automatically, I love
Automatically. Yeah.
everybody. So, were you
Very
born?
true.
Where were you born?
I was born in the north suburbs of Chicago,
Okay,
but my parents are from the Philippines.
okay. And do you know why Filipino and Philippines are spelled with an F and a P? Have
No.
Have you broken this? Because I want to know.
No, I don't know that. Oh, I thought you were about to tell me. I'm like, wait,
No,
like there's
I
a
no, I thought about it when I interviewed that guy, and I'm like, "Yo, why is it Philippines and Filipino spelled with an different?"
I have no idea. I have no idea, Ashley. I need to look into that. I have no idea. They probably don't even know. Like,
So on your reel, you had a lot going on your reel too. I saw that you were playing basketball with Jadakiss.
yeah.
Okay, because that's like my baby. It's like Jada, Jeezy, Tupac. That was like that's
Okay.
all,
Yeah.
because Jersey, New York, close enough. The locks,
Yes.
that's my baby. So how was that experience? Like,
Oh, that was really funny, actually. I
did you
didn't
play
win.
sports growing up?
Just at recess. Like I
Okay.
played basketball and football with the guys, but I did gymnastics from age 5 to 13, and then cheerleading 13 to 18. And cheerleading, yeah, it's not a sport, but that's just a sport. Like that
No,
was
I didn't. I
intense.
didn't really. Yeah, that's just a sport.
Yes, I was in my best shape. I was so strong. Like it was a lot. So, but I love playing basketball and football at recess, like with the guys. Like that's what I was doing at recess instead of like I don't know, swinging on a swing or like something. Like I was always playing that. I'm great at flag football, so I would love to. Like I love flag football, like doing that stuff. So if there's ever any flag football opportunity, let me know. But yeah, no, I didn't play sports like on a legitimate team. It was mainly with like my
Okay.
brother, my cousins, or like the guys at school.
So how did you end up playing ball with Jadakiss? How does that come about?
I love basketball, so like I can't dribble, but I can shoot for sure. And I wanted to do something different, so I came up with this series where I play horse with artists. So I did it with Jadakiss, Fab. Who else did I do this with? Blueface. Who else did it? There was like five episodes of that I did. I didn't win any of them, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But
That's
with
awesome.
Jadakiss,
Making up
yeah,
these,
would
like,
you say?
it's nice that you're making up this series, like, and you're just like, "Oh, I just thought of a series," and then I just reach out to
I've
like,
I've
"Well."
done that a lot. Like I have so many random ideas that I've done with artists, and it's like they actually all turned out really good, but I just wasn't consistent with it. Like I've done tours of houses, I've done cooking. Uh, what else did I do? Just random shit. But like, yeah, so he was coming by, promoting an album, and I just remember with that game specifically, it was hilarious because I would come close to so many different shots, so I thought there really was a chance I was going to win, but I did not win. But he was great, and he gave a lot of great advice as well.
Okay, well, if you see him, tell him I said,
I will.
"You were boxing with Ray Shermer, Swae
Oh
Lee."
yeah, I did do that. Yeah, see, like just so much random shit.
And then so now I want to talk about your newest accomplishment. So you became the host for the Dodgers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was reading your thing. You said they interviewed like, was it 400 people or more than that for the position?
So 400 people applied, and then I don't know how many people they interviewed for the second round. And then they had 14 of us come into the stadium for like the final round.
And only one was chosen.
No, actually, so it was supposed to only be one, but they ended up picking two guys and two girls. So
Oh
like
wow.
yeah, everyone was so good that it was like I was like, there's no way they'll be able to pick just one.
Wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah,
So
so
what do
we
you like how do you like the job? Like what are you
I
covering?
love it.
Like you're just basically hosting throughout the game, doing like route
Yes.
things, games and all that, talking to fans,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yes, so I do so it's the pre-show, which is about 40 minutes before the game, and then throughout the game for the inning breaks, we do different games with fans, and it's crazy because I didn't have any experience, like, stadium hosting, like, and every time I do interviews, it's, like, one-on-one, or for, like, a panel, like, the biggest crowd I ever had to host in front of was maybe, like, 1,000 or 1,500, so I thought I was gonna freak out, like, in that stadium, but it actually being in the stadium, you don't feel all those people there, which is weird because you would think like they're literally all staring at you. And at Dodger Stadium, it's so they have two 27-foot screens, so it's like people actually pay attention versus like in basketball when you look at like their screens, you have to look up. So I feel like a lot of people don't pay attention as much, but like in that stadium, like it's like the only thing you can look at. So I
Right.
thought I was gonna be super nervous, but like I love it. Like I don't feel it at all. Like, and I
Feel
love being
comfortable.
there. The next game I'm doing is actually Filipino Heritage Night, so that is on the second. So I'm excited about that. That's next
Oh,
week.
nice. Okay. When you're doing the games and everything, do you ever I know you said you're feeling comfortable, but are you doing something before you interview people? Like, do you have any specific thing or like way that you prepare, or are you kind of just off the rip?
No, so before the game, so now it's like it's so easy and I'm so comfortable with it. So we'll get for the specific games, like we know what the games are. So as long as you really know what the game is, you can play around with the different fans with doing it. So what I do is just every time before the segment, I meet who the contestant's going to be for the game, and I try to have small talk with them before, just so it's even better chemistry when we're
Gotcha.
actually live, like at the stadium. So I'll always talk to them. The last one I did, I remember he was holding a beer, and I have so much damn hair. And like before we started, he was like, "Look, one of your hairs dropped in my beer." And so it was just like my bad. Like, so it's just like fun stuff like that. And I'll just talk to them about, like how their day went or like how drunk they are or, if they're excited, if they're nervous. So I'll always talk to them before. And then as far as for like the pregame show, we get the run of show and what the talking points are going to be. So I'll just go over it when I'm at home, and I'll just rehearse for myself just so that, and I always do it out loud just so I make sure like I'm good. But it's very like it's not where you have to be like super polished. So that takes a lot of stress off of it, where it's like they want you to have fun. So
Right.
it's like we try to add different like elements to it. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really do love it. Like a lot. I never would have thought that would be one of my jobs ever. Like it was never a thing where I was like, oh, one day I would love to be able to do this. Like, and it just happened. So
I was watching the World Series a little bit,
yeah.
and I don't watch baseball at all. Like I worked at McFadden's in Philly for like 2 months, and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, like so slow, and like everyone, if the game was over
It's
and
faster now.
like left, and I'm like, this sucks, I'm like, I'm gonna stay in the casinos. But I was watching the World Series, and I was like, I don't know if it was the players that was looking fine or what, but I was like really intrigued, and I'm like, oh, it's not as boring anymore. So I'm like, maybe one day I'll
That's
go to
hilarious.
a baseball game. Out here we're having the A's come out here.
Yes, and then
So,
also, so this year they changed, the format of baseball, so the games are a lot faster.
ah,
Yeah, so they're not as long anymore, so they cut
look,
it, so even for, like, the inning breaks, we don't have that much time, like, to play the game because they cut the games a little bit shorter.
look, 2023, making progress.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you still signed to Warner Music label for
No,
Twitch?
so I was never signed to Warner Music, I was hired as a host for their Twitch channel.
Oh, okay. Do you play video
Yeah,
games?
like is it what?
Do you play video games?
Um, Only Nintendo 64 games, like Hang Time, not actual, like, video games, not the
Yeah.
new ones.
Okay. I played Crash Bandicoot on my PS4. I got it because I'm like they remade Crash Bandicoot. That was like my shit when I was
Oh, I
like,
didn't know that.
so I got it on this one, and I finally I had to have a friend help me beat it. I'm like, this is not even made for kids. Like none of this new stuff.
That's funny, I would not know. Like
I was like a Super Nintendo girl for sure.
yes, yeah, I was an N64 girl for sure.
I hated the joystick. I hated the joysticks. That's why I
Yeah,
hate.
like, the last time I just played, like, recently, actually, and that shit fucked up my thumb, like, I felt like my hand was,
Like
like, stuck
carpal
like
tunnel.
this. It was bad, but I still had fun.
Okay, so as far as like the industry so far, it's just been over a decade for you. So is there
Yeah.
any like big obstacle that you feel like you face that maybe as being a woman or just being in the media in general that was like kind of hard to overcome or that you had to learn how to navigate?
Thankfully, no. I really stay out of the way. Like I am so out of the way where it's like I'm only out, if I need to be out for an event, I get along with everybody. So thankfully, I didn't have any issues where I felt, or like an obstacle that I felt like I had to overcome. The only obstacle I feel that I had within the industry is it's my own fault where I didn't stay consistent from what I wanted to do from day one. And I'm thankful that I was able to go into different avenues within the industry because I learned so much for sure. But what I did learn was I was trying to do too much, like all the time, like all the time. And it was, if I had just streamlined and I focused on like the key things I wanted to do, I feel that I could have been more effective and could have been a lot further than today because there's still a lot more that I want to do and that I haven't accomplished. And I wish I just didn't try to do everything at once and make everybody like happy and prioritize everybody else. So that was the only obstacle, but that's not the industry's fault. That was my fault.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I'm like I try to do so many things at once and it's really true. You have to just like pick something and focus on it
Yes.
and just like do it because it's like you have to put your energy into it because it doesn't make any sense to put your energy in all different things and then
Yeah.
nothing comes to fruition. So I definitely.
Exactly.
Do you edit all your own stuff?
Yes. Not my interviews. I have an editor actually for that. I know how to edit, so I can do it if I want to. I just prefer not to
Yeah,
because
I
mm,
do Final Cut, and I've been doing that for years now.
yeah.
And finally, have somebody to do my social media, but with my actual editing, it's like I want to do it because I already know it's like you
How
know
picky you are.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, maybe one day I'll be like, all right, this is fine. You did a good job. But then sometimes I'm just like, why would you think that's a great cut or an angle?
Yeah, so oh my gosh, so I just had this where it's like there's literally only one videographer in the past that I would trust with anything where I never had to double check shit. I could just upload and then thankfully I have another one as well where like he's my go-to, but then even like there was a time where I was working with different people and it was just like I would get so frustrated because it was the same thing. Like, wait, why? Like, why did you think that was okay? Or why did you not catch that? And I realized, like, you know what? I just have to stick to what I know and like who knows how to work with me and who like really takes it seriously because that's less stress for yourself as well. Like,
Yeah,
you can go the route where it's like, oh, you can go where you can save money and edit yourself, which is like that makes sense like financially, but then also it's like sometimes saving money and going that route is not worth it because
yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna do way
I
more
like
work.
to pay for my piece sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have anything that you want to spark up?
Anything I want to spark? Oh no, not right now because I have to shoot stuff after, and when I smoke I am the most useless person you'll ever come across.
It's funny because I actually I smoke like CBD when I do like photo shoots and stuff. If
Yeah.
I smoke in my photo shoot, I use CBD because I'm like I'm gonna be high as shit. My eyes are just gonna be like I'm not gonna want to like do anything in front of this
Yes,
camera.
that's how I am. So I'm like I don't smoke until like late night when I'm about to sleep.
Do you have a preference on what you smoke, or are you just like,
Indica. It
yeah,
has to be. I tried, not even that I tried. Whenever I do sativa, it's just like I don't want to be high anymore. Like it's like it reaches a point where it's like get this the fuck out of my system because I don't want to feel it anymore and it does not go away. So it's just like I
wow?
like to like be able to sleep.
It sounds like you are smoking something with a lot of limonene, which like makes your heart rate and your anxiety get worse if you
Oh,
have.
okay, yeah, that's probably what it was because never
It's in a
again.
lot of it's in a lot of sativas, and people don't realize it, and that's why some people are like, "What the fuck? What did I smoke?" You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'm actually making a weed strain. It'll be like done by the end of the year,
nice.
and I'll definitely send you some because it's going to be a balanced hybrid sativa leaning, but balanced, and there's no limonene,
And
there's
it
no.
won't make me freak out.
Yeah, no, made sure because I'm like I like the limonene because I haven't drank coffee in fucking years, so
I'm
that's
not a
just
coffee
coffee.
drinker.
So yeah, so that was like my coffee for a while, but I'm like, some days even for me it's a lot. So I'm like, I know it's got to be a lot for other people.
Yeah, no, no. I'm like, "Get this out now." Like, I don't want it. And then if I haven't I love edibles, but edibles I already know I'm done for 14 hours no matter what. So it's like I can't do it if I have something.
14 out. What
Mhm.
edibles are you taking?
I just regular like the gummies, but it's like when I take them, it like really stays in my system for a long time. So I love them, but I don't take them often because I just know my thresholds.
Okay, so for like a lot the creators out there and everyone that's kind of doing the same thing that you're doing, what do you think's like a the easiest way to monetize yourself and make it worth it for all your hard work?
Monitor when it comes to like content and creating or
Yeah,
overall. I
I would say
think that
content and also interviews, all that stuff.
I think it's worth it, and it's worth it when you're actually happy and you enjoy creating what you're creating. So when I do my content, even when it's brand deals, I'll only do brand deals if I actually genuinely like the brand. So like we talked about Manscaped. I love Manscaped's marketing. Like and we're doing so much work together, but it's like it aligns with what I want to do and I actually look forward to those shoots. Versus sometimes I would do deals just because like there was pay attached to it, but I didn't really necessarily like the product. So now I'll only work with brands where I actually like the product so that I can enjoy shooting it. And then creating content like to be yourself, like being able to monetize off of that is great. And I would definitely say pay attention to the different trends and what's actually working. Like that's something I didn't do where I'm like, it's really not a big deal. Like if I'm not on social media, all the time or if I'm not paying attention to what's working and what's not. And I'm not even gonna lie, like I just came to that conclusion like recently because I'm like, I keep doing shit and it's like I'm not really putting a strategy behind it. I'm just doing it because I just like I feel like doing it like that week or like one week I don't feel like doing it. But it's like you have to be consistent with that. But it's definitely worth it if you enjoy what you're creating and don't try to recreate something that you saw work for somebody else because they're already doing that, like, you really have to be true, like, to yourself and to your brand.
So when do you feel like was the first time that you got paid for your content? Like you signed up with the in 2010?
2010.
Signed up with
No,
the group
oh,
and you
no,
started.
I'm talking about so when I would do brand deals like that, so it's like if I created something specific to a product,
Got you.
but even when I got paid to do interviews, like, it wasn't anything crazy, but when I first started, but, like, I enjoyed doing it so much that it didn't even matter, I would do it for free, like, just
Right.
because of the experience.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been doing like streaming platforms and everything like that
Mhm.
too. Because I'm like, I have so much content that it's like, if you have the ad money to push this shit out, by all means, take it.
Yes, exactly.
But the people don't realize how expensive content creation is,
It
and
really is, and time consuming.
it's just like it's crazy. Because when I first started it, my friend told me he worked on his business. I'm like, how long you been having this brand, this merch, this
Yeah,
brand? He's an artist, whatever, and I'm like, he's like, oh, like 8 years. I'm like, 8 years. I'm
oh,
like,
wow.
you going out this for 8 I'm like, ain't no way I got 8 years in me, like just
Yeah,
start. And now I'm like 3 years in, and I'm like, I can see how it takes
yeah.
a while to build something.
Yes, you really
Um,
have to, and that ties into when I said, like, I did too much. Like, I did way too much instead of focusing on that, so it's now, like, moving forward, my goal is to really focus on my content and not be pulled in, like, 1,000 different directions.
right. Do you have anything else that you're working on that you want to talk about?
No, those are the main things, like, just my show, my content, and then the stuff with the Dodgers are the main things right now,
Nice.
and what I'm going to focus on. So
I like the focus. Only three things, right? We're
yeah,
like,
I'm proud of myself actually. The fact that I didn't say like I have other like side projects, but they're like one-off. So right now I'm working on this Rams preseason opener like campaign. So that's going to be August 12th, where I'm bringing on talent for, there's a flag football game, and then there's a halftime like celebrity skills challenge thing. So it's like, but that's like a one-off thing, but it's like I enjoy doing that stuff because it's still artist related. So I'm like, I feel like it's okay to do that as long as it's just, you know, a one-off, but not like a consistent like full-time job type thing. But no, just those three things really. It's just, it really, my answer should just be my show and Dodgers, and like that's it. Two things. I guess my
100%.
content, does that fall under my show? Unless I, or if I just say like my Jen content, then it's only two things. Yeah, because before I'd be like, I have this, and that was the thing. I felt like I had to have so much going on to like keep up or like be relevant. I'm like, you really don't. Like, you really don't. I was doing way too much. And I tried everything. Like, even when you said streaming, like I tried Twitch. You really have to be consistent with Twitch to do Twitch. Like, so I'll try everything, but I just know what works for me and what doesn't work for me at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not doing Twitch at all. I tried.
It's
I
hard.
bought the capture card and everything, and then I had like an
Yep.
old like laptop, and it didn't like whatever convert. And then I was just like, that's why I actually made my own website, because I was like finding ways to monetize for the content.
Yeah.
Because once I got monetized on YouTube, I was like, well, this ain't fucking sales money. This
Mhm.
ain't bartending money, right?
Even, yeah, even YouTube, you have to like, now shorts is like the big thing.
Hmm.
So it's even with that, like the long, like, oh my gosh, like my interviews will get terrible views on YouTube, but when I take the short and I put it on like TikTok or Instagram Reels, it gets way more views. And I'm like, fuck it. Like YouTube
Yeah.
will make its way back at some point.
So that's why I was like,
Even
let me check out.
YouTube is a skill.
I'm like, I
Like,
don't have to pay, like I'm not trying to pay double fees on through a program when I could
yeah,
just traffic to my website and then you can ship it
exactly.
there, right? So,
Yeah.
um, but I will definitely sign up with streaming platforms that are like, hey, we want to put your content on our site for free,
Mhm.
and we're gonna just fucking put out ad money for free.
Yeah,
Give me fucking
exactly.
money for it. I'm like, okay.
Why
Because
not?
I'm trying to take a break. I'm trying to take a fucking break. It's like season 4. I'm done in like the first week of September, and then I'll probably take a break till the new year again, and just like
Yeah. How many
recycle content.
episodes do you do per season?
I usually do like 15. This year I'm doing 20. Or this season I'm doing 20, and it's just like, I never had a problem with content, which was really lucky for me, because even when I started my YouTube, I had no idea what I was doing. I just, I learned Final Cut through share screen. I learned how to set up my mixer through like FaceTime from
Yeah,
Jersey. It was just like, just raw. And
yeah,
people were just constantly bringing me content, and I was getting like really good interviews from the beginning. And people were like, how you getting this NFL player? I'm like, I fucking reached out and asked, or I know people, and they were like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? They know my
exactly.
fucking character. So they're like, she's not gonna do some bullshit. And
And you're consistent.
yeah, so
Consistent.
I've been doing that, and I'm like, like I said, it's been 3 years now. I'm just starting to feel like, okay, content that I've been slaving over is finally
Yeah,
getting some type of recognition. My Red Man interview went viral.
nice.
So it's like, I'm like, it's slowly building, and that's how I can see how it takes a while. But in the meantime, like you said, you definitely have to be focused, because there's like way too
Mhm.
many avenues that you can go in this. It could snowball so quick.
And it keeps changing. Like now we have threads, like so is Twitter leaving. Like it's just it's so much.
Everyone's like, you on Threads? I'm like, I hate Twitter. I have somebody that does Twitter. I don't even look at my Twitter. I can
Yeah.
even like
I
I
got mad at Twitter once they took away the verification and like what did they add to it? They just it was once Elon Musk took it. It just became
we're all fucked,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, is there any type of like thing that you like motto that you live by, or just anything that you tell yourself all the time? I know that you're like definitely spiritual and you believe in God.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you constantly kind of like just remind yourself through your process?
I used to like when I first started, my thing was make it happen. That's what it was before, and then after that, it's just I don't have a set. I should. I didn't have like a set thing, but like one thing that I always stand by is just to really like believe in yourself. Like really believe in yourself. And I'm going through this amazing like process right now in this journey of like healing and getting to know myself, and it's just like I feel like I'm growing so much and it's like happening so fast, but it's like just really
Yay!
believing, yeah, believing in yourself, and yeah, believing in yourself and like having boundary, like there's just a lot, so I couldn't
I
pick
love
just
boundaries.
one.
I
Yeah,
fucking love boundaries.
yeah.
So I've been healing since I started the podcast. Before that, like I said, I was just a toxic person coming from Jersey, like still in the industry, and
Yeah.
like then when I started like just learning health, wellness, mental, physical, spiritual, like I'm so deep into health that it's like now, like I said, I'm the vessel for other people and helping them heal themselves. And it's like, it's just been a crazy road. So I'm excited for that you're going through that. And it is, it's called like spiritual awakening when you go
Mhm.
fucking 0 to 100 and you're like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah, like, and it's very, because, healing is it's a really a never ending process, but like when you really focus on it, I feel like I've been on this healing journey since maybe like 2018, where it's like I've gone to therapy, I've done hypnotherapy, I've done Reiki, I've done like all these different things, but like I hit a point recently where it was like, okay, no, because sometimes when you first start your healing process, like, there's certain things you shouldn't do anymore, or certain habits you want to break, but then like you revert back to it. So it's like, that's like what I was doing for years. And now I'm like, no, like, dead ass, I am not backing down on like any of this, because I want to make so many different changes, and I know there's so many blessings waiting for me, but I know I'm just not ready to receive them yet. So I'm really focused. That's my other, okay, so we said the three focuses earlier. I'll say that fourth focus is myself. Like, because I was such a person who cared so much about other people, where I would prioritize other people and other things, and I would literally put myself last. So
Okay.
I realized, like, yes, you can still be a genuine person and a caring person and a giving person, but not at the expense of yourself. And that's something I really had to come to terms with.
Gotcha. And I'm opposite. I learned how to like actually give a fuck about people.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Before I was like, fuck you, I'm on my own. I got to do all this shit myself. Like I can't, I go
Yeah.
tell, and now I'm like, what do you need? Are you okay? You want to cook for you? Like, you need a meal? Like,
Yeah. Balance.
yeah. So I did a lot of quantum leaping. I don't know if you've heard of that. If you've done Reiki,
Mhm.
it's like beyond Reiki.
What is that?
It's like fucking it's the same kind of thing. They go over you, they do it. So it's an energy healing, but it's basically like them really breaking your blockages, bringing your spiritual self into your body. A lot of times you can't even bring your real self in because we have these responsibilities through life. We have a lot of traumas. We have a lot of other people we have to take care of, and we just don't have time to really be our genuine self, right? And we don't
Mhm.
have the space to do that, whether it's your
Yeah.
environment, your work, your family, whoever it might be that's holding you back or whatever.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot to really like be free of like those blockages. So
Yeah.
did quantum healing, that should change my life. That
Oh
was my
wow, I like want to try it now. If it's like
Yeah,
next level
whenever
Reiki.
you come to Vegas, girl, I got you on all the self care. Like I'm self care queen out here. And like I
Yeah.
said, nutty because like in Jersey, we don't believe in none of that. Like it was all voodoo, weird. Like I got my crystals now. Like look at me. I'm like, people are like, what the fuck? Like you're so calm. I'm like, I know, right?
Yeah. You have to be like
I'm
it's
like, there's nothing to be angry about. And now I have shit to lose. So I can't just be popping off like I used to. Like but I did my first ayahuasca trip a couple months ago.
Oh,
Have you
how is
heard of
that?
that?
I've heard of it, I've never done it.
Okay, so that was what really, like you said, when you know things that you're supposed to be working on when you're healing, a lot of times you put them off, they come back it
Yeah.
later. And so, I had a big blockage that,
Oh, it always comes back.
yeah, I had a big blockage, took right out the next fucking day. It was a lot of pain, a lot of crying, a lot of conversations that didn't want to be had but need to be had. And it just was like, after that, it was like, I feel content that I've already gotten like everything out that I needed to. Like I've made
Yeah.
amends with the people in my life that I feel like I need to at this point. I feel like I don't have no burden on me.
That's
So like, and it's taken me fucking 3 years to get here. So I tell people like it's a process when you're even with your diet, whatever you're trying to change,
mhm.
your mental, your physical, like you have to go to the gym every day. You can't just go 2 days and think it's gonna change. Like everything's
Yeah.
the same thing with content, right? So you have to have a good mental space to do this. This shit is not for the weak.
Yeah, exactly. And it's even like just even with the process of it, or something that's really important to touch on is like whatever that thing is that you need to do, like that's part of your healing process, like avoiding it for a year or 5 years, it doesn't matter. That shit is coming back like 5 years later. So like I know like I have specific things where I know like God's been telling me, like, this is part of your process. Like, he legit tells me this every year, and I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's not
Right.
that big of a deal. And it's like, no, it is. You cannot run away from your healing process, and you can't find temporary fixes. Like, you can't, or a temporary fix, or a distraction, like, because it will only partially like heal you for that moment, but that shit's coming back. So like whatever it is you're afraid to face on your healing journey, just face it, because you will have to face it eventually, even if it's when you're 80. Like, I don't care, it is coming back, like, until you learn.
And the sooner you do it, the sooner you can have a better life, right? Because
Right.
you don't want to be 70 going through your trauma and it's like it held you back from your whole life of living, and that's how I look at it.
Exactly.
Got to talk about it. It don't matter. I mean, once you hit your 30s, like it's it's like you have to deal with it. Once I heard
Yeah.
I was like something's telling me I just can't be the same anymore.
Maybe it's the 30s, like maybe that is like that we cracked the code. Like, it's like,
When's
all
your
right,
birthday?
you can run away from it all the way until your 30s, but when it's your 30s, you really have no choice anymore.
I'm telling you, it's a good thing. Like it's a good age. I think 31 is like when I really started going in. I'll be 34 this year.
Nice.
And how when's your birthday?
June 28th. So I
Oh,
turned 33 a few weeks ago, or I guess a month ago.
yes. Oh my God,
Yeah.
you're in your Jesus year.
Yeah. So I started like 30. I think, when did I start my healing process? Probably when I was like 30. I think like I like dabbled in it, like maybe like 20, no, maybe 29, and then 30. I'm like, let me take this more seriously. And then like, it was like, it progressively got worse. So that's when I say, like, when you have to do something, just do it, because it's like you have, when you're first introduced to the point like that you have to do something, it's a little easier. But like the more you reject it and try to run away from it, I swear like it gets worse and worse. And then like you're gonna hit a point where like it'll hit you so hard that you're like, damn, okay, now I really want to just do what I'm supposed to, because I don't want it to keep getting worse.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably your 30.
Yeah. So you're in your Jesus year. 33 is Jesus year. So it's like your rebirth. It's the year like you basically you like this is your abundant year. Like you're
Oh,
gonna
thank you. Oh, that's good to know.
yes, like all your healing things you're going through, like you're gonna be getting rid of those blockages. You're gonna be getting all the job opportunities you want or everything you want in jobs that you have. It's like this is like the year. So my year of 33 like has been honestly fucking amazing. Like since I've like already made it that I'm like, okay, I want my life to be great,
Yeah.
So
And then
that's
when's your birthday?
November.
November. Okay, so it's coming up
No, it's not. It's like
ish. Yeah. You got
don't
like
make
4
me
months.
34 yet. Okay.
You're still in your Jesus year.
Yes. I love it. I thank you so much for your time. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
thank you. This was a lot of fun.
What did you say you have August 2nd?
Filipino Heritage Night
Oh my
at
God.
Dodger
Okay.
Stadium.
So that's perfect because I drop my episodes Wednesdays. So I'll just drop yours next week on the 2nd.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
gonna be a fun one. No, I really enjoyed this conversation. I already know, like, even just like what I'm gonna end up pulling, like, from the link when it's available.
Oh,
Like,
you're already way ahead. That's why you're like, can I pick my own shit?
well, just because I know it's a lot to like have to like clip through, and then you never know what people like. But it's like there's so many different things
Yeah,
in
well,
there that
you're different because you're like you do the same thing, so I could totally get it.
yeah,
So yeah, I'll send you I'll download the video off YouTube after this, and I'll email you the link. I mean, to the whole video, and you can like click
perfect.
what you want. But for the most part on the video, it's just gonna be there's not much to clip out. I'll just edit it and then add your tags in there and whatever else.
Yeah, don't you love that? Like, I remember when I first started, I'm like, ugh, like if I have to like cut out certain things, but then I'm just like, I literally don't care. Like, whatever was said is what's going to be said, and then it's an easier editing process because it's like you just need to trim the beginning and the end. It's good.
Yeah, well, when I first started editing, it was just a bad because I had an old ass Mac from like college, and I was using Final Cut, but it was like just like overworking the storage, and like I
Yeah,
could only do like a certain amount of time, or else it would go on storage, and then I would like have to redo the video in like a shorter
yeah,
amount of time. The longer videos took me like days sometimes, like an hour and a half.
yeah.
It still took me like 24 hours sometimes, as far as like getting everything done, cutting up it was just a lot. So I've minimized my shit a lot because now I just have like the lapel mics or like
Mhm.
that you just, you know, take with one camera, one widescreen angle.
Yeah.
Things already connected. The audio's in there. The audio's great. You know what I mean? I don't have to do like the 2, 3 separate angles and then
Yeah.
GarageBand with my shit and mix it in. I used to do that shit in my studio in my house, and I was like, I don't know how. I'm like,
And it's like with how everything is now with social media, like no one cares anymore.
no one
Like,
even knows. I'm like, you can't even tell. And
exactly.
no one's looking at anything in 4K. They might think they are, but they're
Yes,
not.
exactly. They're really not.
All right. So, Filipino Heritage. You said it's Filipino Heritage Day?
Filipino Heritage Night. Yeah, it's Dodger
Night.
Stadium.
Okay. So tell me about it.
So the Dodgers do just different special nights, like specialty nights. So Filipino Heritage Night, it's going to be, for Filipinos, they have a Filipino like custom like jersey. So that's going to be really cool. I'm excited for it just because like that whole stadium is going to be full of Filipinos. And like I said, Filipinos are just
You're gonna get the happiest
so,
stadium
like,
ever.
I'm really excited for it. Like,
Is it a Heritage Month as well, or it's just the night?
no, it's just the night.
Oh, okay. It's just like we're gonna do this night. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like July 8th was Japanese Heritage Night, so I hosted that night. On June 14th, we had Black Heritage Night, so they had like just different cultures. So it's a lot of fun and just seeing like the different cultures. So I'm
that.
super excited about Filipino Heritage Night.
I used to do culture videos when I started YouTube with
Did
all
you?
my friends. We did like how to be Hawaiian. We did how to
That's
be
fun.
yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, that'll be August 2nd.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate Jen DeLeon being on the show.
Thank you.
This your sister, 33.
Seriously. That's like the first time I heard that too. I'm like really excited.
I'm really excited for your journey, and I hope you come to Vegas because I'll show you a really fucking good
I'm
time.
not coming to Vegas in July. I'll tell you that.
I'll see you in the fall.
In the fall.
All right, y'all. Until next time, peace.
I ain't talking about painting a picture. This is scribble for the soul. When I was a youngin', man, my dribble was cold. So that means I always been ballin' like Jones. Whatever block I step on, I call it my home. I'm left alone. I'm fighting inner demons, my mind spent like a spree well. Shot him in his neck and his back, gave him that easel. Just found out what a pre-sale was. I'm levitating. Closing line of retail love. I'm hella faded shit.